with your slab that you've either rolled with your rolling pin or you've done it on the slab roller, after I pull my things off of the slab roller, I usually like to go over them with the rolling pin just a little bit to get it slightly thinner. And then the other thing that I like to do, because when you pull it off of the slab roller, it has that canvas texture. I'm not a fan of that. I kind of like to have a blank slate. So I'll wet my slab a little bit and take my flexible metal rib and just go over it, and that smooths out any texture that might be on there. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these tubes and cover it with paper. I like to do 2 sheets. One sheet will stick to your clay, one sheet will stay on the tube, and it helps it to slide off easily. And all I'm going to do is take that, fold it over the slab or over the roll that way, and then fold it over this way. And we can see now where they overlap. We don't need all of this excess clay here. Obviously, we're going to cut that off, but we don't want to cut straight down because that'll create a seam that doesn't overlap. It sits side by side. So what we're going to do is cut at about a 45-degree angle. And then I'm able to remove this excess and this excess. And whenever we're connecting things, we're always going to score both sides of the clay and then slip one side. So in this case, we're going to use our toothbrush method and just scoring and creating slip as I go over it. And now holding this in place, I'm going to roll it over, and this seems stretched a little bit. But there, they overlap. And then I can take my rolling pin, roll over that to smooth that seam in, as well as take my metal rib and go over it. Now, that is not level. I'm going to go back and find where the edge of the tube is. Hold my knife level with that and just walk it around. Okay. So I can stand this upright now. And like I was saying, this is good for small to medium-sized pieces. If you're going bigger, what's going to happen is the weight of the clay itself is going to start to pull it down, and it's going to slump at the bottom. So this is good for doing smaller vases, bottles, or in our case, we're doing mugs. So this is a mug that was made here. That is just a cylinder mug. And next step, I'm going to take part of a slab and same thing, smooth off the canvas texture, because this is going to be the base of my mug or my pot. And I'm going to put it down on the slab, and I'm going to lightly trace it. Set that aside and then score deeply all of this. It's going to be kind of a big mug, more of a stein. But remember, the clay shrinks. Depending on your clay, it's going to be 12 to 14%. And then make sure you don't have any paper on the bottom. Tuck that in going the opposite way. and score all of this.
So the score on both sides of it is kind of like the glue.
Score both sides, slip one. And that is your glue. So now I'm going to put this back, line this back up where I had it, and just gently wiggle it and push down. And now, because this is supported by this tube, I have the opportunity to go ahead and put some texture on it. So if you made any stamps at the beginning of the semester, this is a good time to utilize those. Just press right in. If you didn't make stamps, but you have other things around that have texture, you can go ahead and put that in there too.
So you pull out these Legos, huh?
Pull out your Legos, pull out your kitchen tools that you have no idea what they're doing, and put them to use. So there's just lots of different textures that you can play with, things that you can find. We have, remember the whole bucket of stamps over there? You can utilize any and all of those. So go ahead and continue to do your texture on there. And what I'll do now is cut the excess slab away. I'll save this part because this can be a base for another mug. And you'll go back, and I always score these edges, and I score them pretty deep. It looks ugly, but it really makes sure that everything is held tight together. Do that all the way around. And then you can go back again with your flexible grid and smooth that back in. Now, at this point, I'm going to take a break from this, and I'm going to make my handle. You can either do something hand built, or if you want to pull your handle, that always has kind of a nice finished look to it. So like this one has a pulled handle on it. And when this stiffens up, not quite leather hard, but like a soft leather hard, at that point I'm going to go back with my knife and I'm going to cut my rim even. You can put it on the Lazy Susan and turn it, or even put it on your wheel head and hold a pencil or a needle tool or a knife to it and just gently trace a line around it so it's even, and then cut the excess off. And you'll go over it with your sponge on the edge to round that off, because remember, our lips are coming into contact with this edge. We don't want it to be aggressive towards us and hurt. So just go over it with a sponge, round that off. You can go over with your finger, push that to round it off too. Okay, and then I'll attach my handle and let it dry. Before it gets all the way leather hard though, I want to pull that tube out, and I'll gently work to pull this paper out. And on this inside edge, that bottom corner, I'm going to roll a tiny little coil and put it down in there. And that's just to make sure, one, that the bottom and the walls are attached well, but two, it'll round that corner off so it won't trap bacteria. So that, you'll just take a nice soft piece of clay. We're talking tiny coil.
Can we make vases with this, or do they have to be mugs?
No, you can make vases with it. You have to make vases and mugs and pitchers and bottles.
So it said on the syllabus we have to make either a coil project or a slab project. That's
And it's up to you.
okay.
And it's up to you. It could be a mug, it could be a vase. I'm gonna take my little coil, throw it down in there, and I will take the rounded end of my tool. And you can see I'm just kind of going to push the coil into place.
How do you do that without breaking it? I would get ready if I did that. I'd break
Well, this demo piece is a little bit thicker than what I would usually do for a mug. I would make it a little bit thinner, but because it is thicker, it's holding its shape. And before you do this, I want you to wait, at least like a half hour until your piece is a soft leather hard, so it doesn't flop over.